All right, welcome back to WMAC Now with your host Chuck Stevenson, and welcome to a special fight preview. So we're going to one on Prime Video number 2, One Championships second event that's going to be hosted in the U.S. and Canada on Amazon Prime Video. We're going to the main event, the trilogy fight. Everybody, Xiong Jingnan, the champ, bringing on the challenger Angela Lee, who is looking for a second time to challenge for Xiong's belt up at 125 pounds. Lee, of course, is the one atom weight 115-pound champion, and Xiong is the one straw weight 125-pound champion. Now, these two have fought twice in the past. The first time, Lee moved up to challenge for Xiong's title, and Xiong won via fifth round TKO. Now, the second time they met, which was later in the same year, in I believe 2019, Xiong moved down 215 pounds to challenge for Lee's title at the time, and in that time, Lee caught an absolute buzzer-beating submission in the fifth round to finish Xiong. I believe it was Xiong's first loss since 2015. So, and a large number of fights. So it was a big deal at the time. So each fighter has tried to challenge for the other's title, and each fighter has come up short. This time, Lee's going back up again. Now, I will admit, when this fight first got announced, this trilogy bout, I was mad because Lee has had one fight in the past almost 3 years. I mean, she beat Xiong in October of 2019. So, and then didn't fight again until March of 2022, earlier this year. And now she's fighting her here in October. So it's like only her second fight in 3 years. And to me, I thought it was ridiculous that, she comes back after a long break, defends her title one time, and then immediately moves up to challenge for a title, especially in a division that's so shallow. Like, what's she going to do? She's going to claim this title, and then who's she going to defend it against? There's very few options. But also it made me mad because, Lee has challengers in her own division. And she's only defended her belt once in the last, 2 years? So almost 3. So maybe she should be defending her belt. However, as the fight draws closer and closer, I'll admit, I'm very much excited for this bout. I mean, knew this trilogy was going to happen someday. Figured I was hoping Xiong would go back down in weight to challenge Lee again because her division is sparse. So it makes more sense for her to go down and challenge in the deeper division than it does for Angela to go up. But Angela is one championship's golden girl, so she can do whatever she wants. Whereas Xiong is pretty much alone for the ride. So we're getting this trilogy bout. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good fight. Both of their fights, I think I named both of them Fight of the Year in 2019 because they were both that good. I believe I made both of them. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, those first two fights were that good. There was back and forth action. Xiong looking to take Angela's head off. Lee trying to go for submission after submission. Each fight was very back and forth. Both of them were close to finishing the other multiple times. This is going to be a really good one. So let's get down into it. First, we got to take a look at the stats on this one. So let me bring up those stats here. So the Panda, the champ, coming in at 17-2. Unstoppable Lee coming in at 11-2. So Xiong has, 6 more fights in experience than Lee. Of course, Xiong is riding a 3-fight win streak since the Lee rematch. She defeated Tiffany Teo by decision, beating Teo for the second time. Absolutely shut out Michelle Nicolini in a decision win, and then got a third decision just 8 months ago against Ayaka Miura, absolutely shutting her out as well. Now, Lee, her most 2 recent wins coming over Xiong way back in October 2019, and then most recently fought Stamp Fairtex in March, getting a first-round submission. Before that, though, you'll see she had 2 straight losses. The first one was to Xiong, and then the second was to Michelle Nicolini. In her very next fight after the Xiong fight, she's tried to stay at 125 pounds, came up short against Michelle Nicolini. So they do have a common opponent besides each other in Michelle Nicolini, with Lee coming up short and Xiong defeating her. Now you look at the age here, big difference, 8 years. 34 for Xiong, whereas Lee is the more youthful 26. But you look at the height, Xiong slightly taller, 5 feet 5 inches 165 centimeters to 5 feet 4 inches 163 centimeters for Lee. Looks like Lee has the reach advantage according to this, though. 66.9 inch 170 centimeters to 64.2 inch 163 centimeters. Reach is always questionable, though. So those are your stats on this one. So let's talk about the strengths of each fighter. So we'll start with Xiong. She's a champ. She is very strong physically. I mean, just very strong. Like nobody at 125 pounds has truly been able to just out muscle her. Lee has come close, but hasn't quite been able to do it at 125 pounds. And because this is heavier weight, that strength is going to factor in. Also, Xiong is very fast on the feet. Good footwork, uses it very fast. She'll dart in and land some strikes and then dart back out. That speed is crucial. Also, her distance striking, particularly with her punches. She is a master at fighting from the distance and using that footwork and that speed to control the striking at boxing, mostly at boxing range, most particularly, I should say, at boxing range. Now for Lee, her strengths, well, she's also strong. I mean, there's no doubt about it. She is strong. She is the absolute strongest fighter in her own weight class. Of course, she's moving up, but she's still very strong. Also, great grappling. BJJ black belt, always focused on getting the fight to the ground because she knows that's where she does her best work. And when she gets the fight to the ground, she is just looking to chain submission after submission after submission. If she can't get one, she's going to go to another. Oh, this submission failed? Well, let me go on to a third. As you try to adjust and escape, I'm going to try to latch onto another one. She is just constantly chaining those submissions along. She is a great grappler. Like, I'm not a Lee fan, but I give credit where it's due. Great grappler. So those are the strengths. Let's talk keys to victory. Let's start with Lee this time. She's got to conserve her energy. Now, she did better with this in the second fight, but that was at her own weight class where she's more used to fighting. Here, she's, weighing in heavier. She's fighting with more weight on her body. That can wear you down. She's got to conserve her energy. And a big part of this, of conserving the energy, is not forcing submissions. Angela has a big problem. She's always trying to really force these submissions. And when you're really forcing those submissions and you don't get it, well, that's a lot of energy that you just wasted. So she can't force those submissions because she's going to waste energy, and she really needs to conserve her energy. Also, one thing she did in the second fight that she was not doing in the first fight, she was using her kicks a lot more. You got a black belt in Taekwondo, use your kicks. And she was using her kicks to start taking over in the distance in that second fight. Started landing kicks to the body of Xiong. Xiong didn't like that so much. So Angela was using the kicks more, and then she was taking over the distance battle. But also, final key to victory. Well, okay, next to last. Get the fight to the ground. You're not going to win the fight on the feet, so get it to the ground. That much is obvious, and that's pretty much her basic game plan. But also, the final key to victory is make the bigger moments. And Angela's very good at making big moments, and the big moments are what people notice and what score higher on the criteria. The big takedowns, the big submissions, the attempts to finish. Go for those bigger moments. And Angela doesn't really have a problem with that, but that's still going to be key to victory here. For Xiong, control the range. She is overall better at controlling the range on the feet. And she doesn't want to go to the ground with Angela. She'll do better on the feet, which requires her to control the range and use that range to, this is important, avoid that space between that inner circle, that black line that runs around the circle there. It's not on the canvas every time, but it's on there most of the time. Use your range control to take the center, avoid that space between the inner circle and the cage wall. So you got the inner circle, you got the cage wall. And that is where Angela likes to get her opponents, because then she rushes in for the takedown, rushes them to the cage to go for the clinch, and then that's where she goes for her takedowns. And if you can avoid that space, then Angela has to work that much harder to get you to the cage. Angela doesn't really go for takedowns in the center of the circle. She goes for them up against the cage. So if you avoid that space, she has to work that much harder to get you there. Also, watch out for the back take. That was a big key in the second fight for Angela. She was able to take the back, and Xiong did work and improve on that in the Nicolini fight. But she has to watch out for that back take. If she can stop the takedown in the center, got to watch out for Lee to hold on to that leg and go for that back take. And also, and this is final, and this was key in the first fight, and I feel that this is going to be key for anyone to beat Angela. Attack the body. Okay? Xiong hurt her to the body, and Stamp hurt her to the body in the short time that fight lasted. Her body is vulnerable. So if you can attack the body, because she doesn't really protect it very well. Xiong's habit, though, just bad habit of head hunting. She's mostly a head hunter, but she will attack the body. And I feel like if you attack the head first, then that will open up the body, because you're not going to knock out Angela Lee going to the head, okay? That big head, that big melon on Angela's neck, you're not going to knock her out attacking that head. But if you attack the head, then you bring Angela's guard up, boom, the body's there. Strike the body, punch the body, kick the body, attack the body. So that is Xiong's keys to victory. So let's talk about some X factors here. Activity. Angela has had one fight in almost 3 years. And that was Stamp back in March. And it didn't make it out of the first round. So she has not been getting in a lot of time in ring. Also, a lot of that time off, she was pregnant and then postnatal. So she was recovering. So she has not had nearly as much time in the gym as Xiong has in that time. And in that time, Xiong also has 3 title defenses. That's big. That is key. And she used that time for those 3 title defenses to improve on things that she needed to work on. So Xiong has more time in cage lately. She's worked harder. And with Angela, people say, oh, she's made so much improvements in her time off. It's like, Where are they? We don't have we seen those improvements? All that's to me, that is nothing but conjecture. Okay. I mean, you would think that as a fighter, you're going to want to work to make improvements in time off. But the difference is we haven't had enough time in ring in the circle with Angela for us to see the improvements that she's been making. So like her family and her team tells us she's been making improvements, but with Xiong, we've actually seen the improvements because she's shown them in 3 title defenses. Now, let's talk about momentum going into this bout. So Lee carries the momentum of having won the second bout. But on the other hand, Xiong has the momentum of winning the first bout, and this third bout is in the same weight class as the first bout, and it is the weight where Xiong hasn't lost in one championship, and Angela hasn't won in one championship. So, I mean, Angela has 2 losses at 125 pounds. So they both have good momentum over the other coming into it. It's just different. So time for me to make a pick. This is hard because they have 1 win against each other. Both of them have finished each other in the 5th round. I'm going with Xiong, though. It's her weight class. She's more active. And I just feel like she actually honestly has more momentum coming into this bout. And I feel like we've seen in her last few fights, her working on improvements and working on things that will help her out a lot more in beating Angela. So I'm picking Xiong. Now, honestly, though, this is a 50-50 pick'em fight because either one can finish the other. I think Angela probably has more ways to win in that, well, she can submit Xiong, and she has a tendency to hunt for the finish more. Like Angela, say what you want about her, she is a finisher, whereas Xiong has been more hesitant to finish lately. And if it gets down to a decision, those attempts to finish are going to score heavily. I still think Xiong, this is her division, and I think this is that belt's not leaving her. So I'm going with Xiong Jingnan to win. So there we are. The preview for Xiong Jingnan versus Angela Lee, number 3. Goes down at 1 on Prime Video, number 2. Friday night in the U.S., Saturday morning if you are in the Eastern Hemisphere. Now, if you're in U.S. and Canada, it is on Amazon Prime Video. Outside of the U.S., go to 1fc.com and should be able to find the listings on there. Let me look at exactly where you want to go. You want to go to 1fc.com, go up to the drop-down menu at Events, click on 1 on Prime Video 2, and right below the title there, you will see a little square, a hyperlink that says how to watch, and it will tell you how to watch it depending on where you are. So those are my thoughts on this bout. Taking Xiong to win the trilogy and finally shut this down. Send Angela packing back down to her division to where she'll have to defend her title. And then the big question is going to then be, well, what is next for Xiong? Because there's nobody left in her division. So either she'll have to move down to atomweight, to 1 atomweight, 115 pounds, and start fighting there, or One Championship is finally going to have to start recruiting outside talent because it's not hard to find 125-pound fighters. It is literally the statistically largest weight class for the women. Has the highest numbers. So hopefully one will start hunting 125-pounders. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on it. Who are you picking? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like the video, Please give it a like, share it as well. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to WMMA See Now, the best, most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.